This is C.R.P.H.A. Business Advocate. This video is going to be in the addition, be that of course part 2 of the video that I just did about a few hours ago concerning J.C.P.H.A, Sears, and many others, including the Gap. The one addition part is that this one right here will be directly on and about Uber. It is be that of course Uber and Lyft. And I did a post on this particular subject, and here is the basic fact. The basic fact is that currently Uber and Lyft are having a situation with the strike. I don't know if it's still ongoing exactly, but the one thing is that this is what I posted, and I'll read it. Please be patient on what I say here. It says, Uber and Lyft, the new innovation in the taxi service, is dealing with a strike with that they are in plans to get the human equation out of the percentage base within the two companies. The two companies are faced with their drivers on strike. Of course, these are known to be, in some respect, volunteer type drivers, but really they're getting paid for it. But yet Uber and Lyft are taking a larger percentage of what the drivers get, which is stupid. And it says, let's see, it says due to the list of things, of course, why the Uber drivers and Lyft drivers were on strike, or probably still are on strike, especially in New York City. A list of things in what you will hear on these two videos, in which I have on my Business Advocate page via Facebook, and also on blogspot.com. And it says, and the two companies think that they think that the IPOs and investors are unaffected by this strike. That is more than technically untrue, because anything that negatively affects a company, it doesn't matter if it's retail, it doesn't matter if it's fast food, it doesn't matter if it's a department store or anything else. If there's a strike happening within the confines of any company in any industry, it will and it can affect the investment percentages exponentially. It can easily affect it in so much, even with the media coverage, it can still negatively affect it. Uber and Lyft has been getting as much media coverage when it comes to the strike as much as, say, Safeway did during the 1978 strike, among the 1990s strike as well. And anyways, it says, let's see, the two companies are so delusional, which is true. And so illogically overconfident, still new apparently to the business world, in which why I know they think that they're unaffected. And it says that they think that that it will not affect them in any way, but if the strike happens to any other company in any other industry, that it will affect the company in question. logically, it affects any company that it's happening to. And be that, of course, the cause and effect can also, the negative cause and effect can easily damage the company. Even in the Uber Lyft situation, and in their industry. So Uber and Lyft are not out of the woods on that. Even it, as we said that they would want to think that they are out of the woods on that, but realistically they are not, and it can and will hurt them. And it says, and with that, Uber and Lyft are in a pipe dream with the driverless car concept that they are said to be working on. In what they see would be where it would delete the human equation out of the company's need to remain in the running / in business, serving the public. And of course, in that regard, many fast food um, franchises have even announced that they may even go into that in the drive-through concept. One of them being Wendy's. Wendy's has said, and of course they haven't really done anything exactly to that extent, or actually beyond that extent, really, to actually acclimate it, be that make it an actuality to where the human equation of the person being at the drive-through window would be taken out, to where there'd be like a machine giving your order and taking your money and giving you change back if at all, if needed, of course. Be that, of course, and I know the concept would also add a credit card or debit card or whichever the hell else, right? And even a gift card as well. And yet, and yet, and yet, they think that it would help the company, and logically, no, it would not, because every machine, it doesn't matter what type it is, needs maintenance, and it needs to be maintained and watched over and switched on and off, especially when the drive-through is closed, it needs to be switched off. If it needs to be repaired, and depending on the parts and how much the parts would be costing the company of each location of each franchise, both run and operated by a franchisee or even by the company itself. Thereby, it would cost the franchisee and the company money. But of course, if they went to the points of Gym Boy's aspect, if Gym Boy were to do it, then it would cost the franchisee money, and the corporate office would have to have the question of, are they willing to compensate the franchisee for that cost? More than likely, no, because even with the Gym Boys redevelopment and redesign of the new look of their symbol, they haven't been given any money to compensate for the cost of the new look of their symbol on the signage of the franchise. And how I know that is the fact that I talked to one of the franchisees of Gym Boys in Sacramento, California, directly on Auburn and Watt. So that right there, there has to be something done to correct that. And it says, let's see. Yet in a test of the driverless concept in Arizona. There was a fatal incident that involved a driverless vehicle and an Arizona female bicyclist. The woman died, and Uber is not taking any level or percentage of responsibility in that situation. That even with the fact that the prosecutors are not opting to put any level and percentage of fault on Uber, even though it was their test run and run that their vehicle that hit the woman. With that, they had to have a person in the driver's seat while conducting the test of the driverless vehicle. Thereby, the person didn't react quick enough to prevent it, prevent the vehicle from smacking into the woman bicyclist, obviously, which is stupid. And I mean the Uber driver that was in the driverless vehicle on the test runway is a stupid idiot, and or stupid bitch, whichever the case, or stupid bitch is per se, whoever was in driverless vehicle test run or test runs. Both Uber and Lyft need to take responsibility no matter what, even when it involves a person both in or out of the automobile that they have their name on, and that is registered their company name and driver's name, no matter if they own it or if the driver working for them owns it, and even if they are doing tests like the driverless car concept, or any other thing that they are testing out in the public view and public surrounding. And it says if they continue to refuse to then the families of the lost or even nearly lost family member can take legal actions against the two companies, or even the one of the two that were involved in the incident. The families would win. Uber and Lyft will have more than a drastic loss in ridership and in their financial base, and that would not make investors very happy either. That is one of many things that can make it where both will be no longer around. In addition, the incident shows that we do not yet have the technology to put in automobiles that would prevent that from happening, essentially. And it may turn out that we may not get there by the time we do. Both Uber and Lyft may not be around at that point in time. So both Uber and Lyft need to more than take notice to this logic and fact, or simply go out of business for good. But while the operation, we'll see. But while in operation, they need to be more than fair in wages and more to those that have driven for them, no matter the length of time, and was or has been, even for new drivers that join the two companies. And of course, linked on to attached to the post of our and, the C.R.P.H.A. Business Advocate is the the New York Times post of about this incident. And Uber and Lyft, whether or not if they resolved anything or not, who's to say? But the one thing is, they cannot think that they're shielded as much as they think they are, from being negatively affected by it. Because it doesn't matter if you're new in the business world or not, you will still have a negative effect, both in stock options and stock leverages and percentages, that is, and many other things. And also, your name could be dragged through the dirt in more ways than one. So Uber and Lyft either treat your employees better, to where that way they can treat the customers better than they have, according to the news media that have shown videos of such events, or completely shut your business down. Because if you're not going to take responsibility for the actions that have happened, even while you're doing test runs in the public surrounding Uber and Lyft, then you have no business being in business. If you think you're so high and mighty that you think you can pay people off like let's see, who was it? Oh yeah, CVS did, or even thought they could, by almost every lawsuit that CVS was involved in when it came to over the counter expired items that they thought they would easily be able to buy off a person, so they can solve the case and not be completely put in the deeper red and the deeper bad name aspect of things. Thereby, Uber and Lyft needs to re-examine things and actually take responsibility for what happened to that woman, and more than compensate for what happened. And also, um, believe me, if the family that lost that woman, in their family member, whose ever family she was a part of, the C.R.P.H.A. business advocate and C.R.P.H.A. humanitarian and citizen advocate support you if you want to sue Uber and Lyft, or even just Uber, due to the fact that it was a test run. Because the prosecutors are weaklings who think that they don't have to do their job by putting the blame directly on Uber, when basically they should have had and probably did have a driver in the driver's seat, but he or she, the idiot or bitch, didn't react quick enough to where it would prevent it from happening. And if the person prevented it from happening while in the test run, then that person would have been alive still, wouldn't they? So guess what, Uber and Lyft? You are more than held responsible in the business world. You are not put in the sidelines to where you're not responsible. And when I say sidelines, I'm using the football metaphor to start with on that. So Uber and Lyft needs to compensate for their employees' wages and much more. Thereby, that means, even if it means the where we're at first for a number of years, for a good number of years, anyways, till the employees are more than satisfied, and actually make them employees of the company instead of volunteer drivers, especially with your name with your name on their front windshields and back windshields, and if at all side windshields. Um, you, Uber and Lyft, need to make them actual employees, compensate for, be that pay them way more than what they're getting, essentially, and also give them medical and dental and vision benefits. Or guess what? I will have, over at C.R.P.H.A. business advocate and humanitarian advocate, will hold you more than accountable, and we will make sure the Better Business Bureau is more than apprised about it. This is C.R.P.H.A. Business Advocate, part 2 of the Sears J.C.Penney Business Advocate thing we did on Mother's Day of Sunday, the 12th, 2019 of May. Have a good day and happy Mother's Day, and please stay safe, and may Heavenly Father bless you all, and may Heavenly Father bless the United States of America, and may Heavenly Father make sure that Trump becomes our president for 2020, because I am voting for Trump in 2020 for president of the United States. Have a good day.